We love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. Today we're going to be reading one of my favorites, Goodnight Moon. And this story is by Margaret Wise Brown and illustrated by Clement Hurd. And it's published by HarperCollins. This is such a sweet story, and for many, many years we read it every single night before my kids went to bed, so it brings back lots of good memories. And maybe it will be one you'll want to read as well. In the great green room there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of, and there's the red balloon, and here is the telephone. And it's a different kind of phone than what we have now. Our phones now are just little tiny phones. This phone had to plug into the wall. You couldn't go from room to room with it. And the picture was the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 bears sitting on chairs. 1, 2, 3. And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens. And there are the 1, 2 little kittens. And a little toy house and a young mouse. And there's the toy house. And there's the little mouse. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Everybody's getting ready to go to sleep. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. 1, 2. And good night, mittens. And there are 2 of those as well, 1 for each hand. Good night, clock. And good night, socks. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. Good night, comb. And good night, brush. Good night, nobody. There's no one there. And good night, mush. And mush is kind of like oatmeal. It's like a cereal. And good night to the little old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. There are lots of stars all over in the sky. Good night, noises everywhere. And the lights are all out, and it's nice and dark, and it's time to go to sleep. Well, for our snack today, we're making a goodnight moon. And I even found a black plate so it looks like the night sky. But we took an English muffin. You could use a rice cake. You could use a bagel, whatever type of bottom that you would want. You could even take a piece of bread and just cut it in a circle. We took some spreadable cream cheese and put on top of it because we wanted our moon to be white, like the one in the story. And then we took banana slices and put those on top. And then we took some Cheerios and put those on top as well. And it looks like we have craters in our moon. You can be creative and make your moon out of whatever you would like. But we hope that you might find this to be a fun bedtime snack, or you could use it when you get up in the morning for your breakfast. When we think about the foods that we use today, our base for our moon would be in our grain group, and then our bananas are right here. We see that bright yellow banana in the fruit group. And our cereal would be in the grain group as well. And if you use the cream cheese, it would actually go in the dairy group. We hope you've enjoyed this segment of Storytime Cooks, where we've read Goodnight Moon and learned about one of my favorite books as we learn about food through stories. Come back and join us again next week as we continue to learn about food through books.